Fear comes out of your identification with your separateness. And as long as you are separate, you are identified with that which is in time and space. And that which is in time and space is changing. And so you are identified with something which is changing all the time. And that has inherent within it fear. And the freedom from fear comes from the identification with that in you which is not the separate forms, which is not stuff, but lies behind stuff. And the minute you identify with that, you are no longer afraid. You have a model of who you think you are and how you think it is. If you identify totally with that model, with that thinking structure, then you are identified with your ego. You are one with your ego. The minute you have extricated yourself from identification with the ego, meaning, yes, there is this structure, but I am also, and you tune to that part of you that is not part of that, then the ego starts to be a part of you, but not all of you. And the part of you that it isn't starts to see it as a beautiful vehicle, like an automobile for driving down the highways. It's something to work with in life, but it's not something that captivates you all the time. There's a part of you that isn't in it. So that even though I am talking, this is more of an answer to this question, even though I am talking, I am not talking. There's a part of me that is watching this hand go out, that is watching as much as there's a part doing it. The part doing it is the ego. It's the words. It's the vehicle through which it's coming. And there's this funny statement that gives me a little bit of pause each evening, which is an old wise statement that says, "He who knows does not speak, and he who speaks does not know." And then I realize that that part of me that is, that's the wisdom. And then it comes down through my ego, which is doing the talking. And the ego is an instrument of that place. And part of the ego is trying to rip off and get its trip on too, and grabs my consciousness. And then I'm talking from not knowing. If I'm rooted in this other part of my being and just use my ego, the ego is an exquisite servant and a lousy master. But you don't destroy it because it is your structure from relating. Just like we are lecturer and lecturee, this is the form of our dance. And the form has in it, you know your part and I know my part. That's all of our ego structure, really. But behind it is real too. And oftentimes the dance just gets so captivating, we lose it into the dance and we forget the meta part. Where it's beyond dance. We just get lost into the dance. Well, see, detachment doesn't mean not having feelings. It means not getting lost in the identification with those feelings. Your humanness makes you, if you're a mother, it hurts you when your child hurts. That's your humanness. Your higher wisdom can appreciate it all, but your humanness hurts. Compassion is that balancing of those two things. And the only way that balancing can occur is if part of you is detached. Not detached in a pushing away sense, in a psychological dissociation sense, not as a mechanism of defense. But part of you is connected with that more expansive awareness that includes your child and you and all of the suffering and all the pleasure and everything. And then part of you is the human mother that's really hurting. And the two of those together in balance is what compassion is about. If you get one and lose the other, you lost it. You lost it. It's not just pity. Compassion is not pity. Compassion is an appreciation of how it all is, and yet including your humanness and your pain and your yearning to end the suffering. So I can work full-time to end suffering, even though I know this is Earth, and Earth has inherent within its form suffering. That's the nature of this thing, of our separateness. I even know suffering is grace, and still I work to end suffering, because that's my part as a human being, a conscious human being. I don't do it out of I'm a great guy to do it. I do it because that's what I do, like you're going to the toilet. And I work to make heaven on earth, even though I know there is a heaven and this is earth. I think you start with your heart. You start with love. You start with whatever will soften your feelings towards the world around you. Try a pussycat or a leaf or something simple, and work up to humans. See, it's interesting, like we can look at trees and we can say a beautiful oak, a beautiful pine, a beautiful elm, a beautiful gnarled, elm. But somehow we get to humans. We say, if you were only this way, you'd be better, So it takes a while to work up to humans. But just start to practice the opening of the heart, and the opening of the heart, and the opening of the heart. And you'll begin to feel your way you learn how to listen. You learn how to listen. Practice listening. Just go and sit under the stars and start to listen. And listen to your body. Like now. Let's just meditate for a couple of minutes. Now you say meditation where it's a different thing, but it isn't. Because you've been doing it all along. Just listen. Just listen. Just like Milarepa with his hand behind his ear. Just listen. Just listen. Just listen. Hear the air conditioner? Feel a movement in the room? Feel your body? The chair? The floor? Feel the fatigue in your body and the pleasure and all of the different feelings. You don't have to react, just notice them. Allow them. Just open to what is. If your thought grabs and takes you on a little trip, just come back. If you want to come back to your breath, maybe that's what is. Breathing in, breathing out. Just what is. Baby gooing. It all just is what it is at this moment. Imagine working out of this space. Nothing happens, yet nothing is left undone. Now bring your awareness to the middle of your chest, as if you had nostrils there and you're breathing in and out. With each breath, imagine that you're drawing in a very subtle type of energy, and you're breathing it out again. And at first, with the in-breath, it just fills your body with a very light, very golden quality of sweetness. And with the out-breath, you breathe out all of the tensions and confusion and fears and then take another breath and fill again. Fill down to the toes and down to the fingertips and up to the top of the head. Now imagine before you some being who is suffering. It might be somebody you know, or just all suffering beings. Or it may be yourself. Somebody that's in pain. It might be they're suffering physically, or maybe psychologically, or maybe spiritually because they're yearning for God. Just imagine that being before you. Continue to breathe in and out of the heart and draw that pran, that beautiful light, that ambrosia, that elixir into your being. And then when you breathe out, direct it to surround that person as if you were surrounding them with a golden light, a light of peace, of presence, a light that gives them a support system for them to use their suffering in a way that allows them to grow, and thus relieves their suffering. Now just rest back in your being. No boundaries. Keep expanding to include all of it. All of us are within you. All the sounds and smells and tastes and touches and bodies are all inside of you. Feel your vastness. You are awareness. There is only one of us here. My voice is inside of us. And from this space, from this grand, spacious presence, look down within yourself and see that tiny being that you think yourself to be. And see her or his drama, history, all of it. And experience compassion towards this being. See the unfolding. And in your mind's eye, place your hand on the head of this tiny being and give it your blessing that it might awaken out of its illusion in order to enjoy its dance. You are the creator, you are the created. Acknowledging yourself as the creator is the first step to the delight in the participation in the creation. I'm happy this evening that we could be together to share so much, to learn all of the other ways in which our intuitive heart is manifesting to heal the planet and to heal ourselves. And I enjoy being part of that process. We are all part of a network. I just play my part and you play yours. You have to listen to hear what your part is, and then accept responsibility for its creation. Don't be afraid to fall on your face. I do it all the time. Just get up, brush yourself off, and get on with it. That's what it is to be human. If you were fully divine, you wouldn't have taken a human birth. So enjoy the way the humanity and the divinity are all part of God.